Welcome everyone. This is episode number 1 of Baphomet Tarot. And I'm going to be explaining each tarot card in detail. And we're going to read it, what it's all about. And we're going to break down these signs, what this symbol means in the corner. And then this is Aries. So I'm going to read exactly what this fucking card means. And then it's going to help us remember it. So this is a good way to learn the tarot. This is the Emperor. So this is video number 1, and we're going to be looking at the Emperor. The Tarot Emperor card is the path of hay, meaning window, that runs between Tipera, beauty, the solar logos, to Chokma, wisdom, lesser creator who rules over manifestation, and is known as constituting intelligence. Because of our divine inheritance from Demiurge, lesser creator, and the great mother, Bina, female aspect of Demiurge, we are all shades of consciousness. Modern psychology has called these shades of higher consciousness unconsciousness, the subconscious, and the consciousness which is just about every elementary child has heard of. However, hearing of a thing is not knowing the thing. Because of the evolution of subjective thought from mythology to fundamental religions and now to modern science of psychology, we are beginning to easily deal with the shades of higher consciousness within ourselves and experiencing a new age, the age of Aquarius, of enlightenment. The higher we realize ourselves in consciousness or on the self-tapestry of the tree of life, the more the student understands that the trump or cards of the major arcana only point the way towards understanding concepts that the mind cannot otherwise grasp. The higher we realize ourselves in consciousness or on the self-tapestry of the tree of life, the more the student understands that the trump or cards of the major arcana only point the way towards understanding concepts that the mind cannot otherwise grasp. The Spiral Tarot Emperor Key 4 has the Hebrew letter He displayed in gold in the upper left corner of the card. This is a different card, but it's still going to have the same pictures. Like we have the shield in the corner. He holds the royal orb of authority and the scepter of his royal state, the sulfur and salt. Emperor and empress decorate the back of his throne. There is a sun and moon motive decorating the stand that supports the Holy Grail, for the emperor and empress are inseparable. For she is the manifesting power that brings forms into being, thereby giving him something to rule. The black and white checkered rug is a common symbol of the fool and or the harlequin, as the fool is the underlining power of the emperor. The spiral emperor is accompanied by the golden upright triangle for the Pythagorean element of fire, and his royal eagle sword, his royal eagle shield. However, in this case, there is no sword, as his authority is accepted and no battle needed to claim it. That's what I'm reading from. Those are the 4 elements here, the symbols. By beginning to understand the next 5 trumps, Pats, the Emperor, the Empress, the High Priestess, the Magus, the Fool, the Initiate will be developing the consciousness of the Horus, the 22nd century human. Because of modern physics, we know that there is only one energy that cannot be created nor destroyed, only transformed. And the student of the tarot knows that all the 78 cards of the tarot deck represent transformations of the one, Fool. From the one, emergence the opposites, which are activating the formative male electric and female magnetic communication. Thus, it is accurate to state that all male figures are Chokma, Jah, and Bina, Yava Ilakim, is that of all female. However, Chokma is a feminine noun in Hebrew, so there can be some confusion. Just accept that language limits understanding and that the action of birth is feminine. In the case of the emperor, he is given birth from the actions of the philosophic Mercury, Magus upon the priestess, by their union, transforming into the emperor and empress, sulfur and salt. The robes of the emperor and empress wear represent the different planes and or dimensions of our multiverse, which are actually vibratory rate that are either force male, Kether, or form female, Bina, and or their intertwining of vibration. The divine union of God, Goddess, that makes all things possible. Here, 0 becomes 8, 2 from 1. The Kabbalist knows that the Big Bang came from what is the source of will and energy, Kether. Thus, the will to force ejaculation of energy, making the Kether male. Male is not a sex here, but an action. The one became 2, Anadoctrius, when I became Am, which is known as Chokma and Bina, which should be stated Chokma Bina, just as yin yang, I am, or time-space, are known to be inseparable and established at the same moment. Thus, with some authority, we could say that the I is male and the Am is female. For one is wisdom, Chokma, and the latter is understanding, Bina. And we cannot experience one without the other. In the tarot, the Fool represents the one energy. The Magus and the High Priestess are the macrocosm into microcosmic. First differentiation of male and female energy polarity. Pure consciousness, known as the root of water, is represented by the High Priestess and her consort. The Magus is considered psychology as the will. Thus the term I am is understood as the intercourse of consciousness and will. Like I said before, I am is your real name. The mating of the High Priestess to the Magus is described in Robert Wang's book, The Kabbalist Tarot, as the activity of the directing will of the one and the great ocean of undifferentiated consciousness which it has itself projected. Big Bang. The bracketed words are my own. Here we think of the reflexive qualities of God. God creates idea, thought. Then the mind understanding to hold that thought and measure it. Thus we have the concept of the universe as a mirror, where everything is the perception and reflected activity of the divine spirit on its dark energy and dark matter self who clothes itself in light, a process which the various and varying symbols of the tarot are attempting to suggest. The reason Crowley has positioned the Emperor so that the body forms a triangle and a cross is because he is representing the alchemical symbol of sulfur. The representation is because of the alchemical explanation of the divine self interaction in terms of sulfur, salt and mercury. In Tarot, Mercury is the magus, the Empress is salt, and the Emperor is sulfur. This may seem as little more than obscure abstraction. However, when we consider the magus, philosophic Mercury, acts upon the high priestess, pure consciousness, and the union, they are transformed into the emperor, sulfur. And the empress, salt. We are actually considering the quite basic attributes of our own consciousness. The empress is on a path of Deleth, meaning door, which is above the path of the emperor, simply because without her manifestation of form, he would have nothing to rule. On the path of Hay, the emperor is a transformation of the magus, will. Basically, when we are classifying images according to color, subject, or other criterion, we are calling the emperor into play. As does the emperor, we are acting upon form via perspective, observation. Another way to see this exercise of rule is that if the subconscious mind of the empress didn't send up form from its depths as a stream of images to be classified by the differentiating exercise of reason, will would have nothing to control or transform. Thus, the emperor, albeit a potent masculine force, functioned as determined by the empress. The emperor is the path of Hay, and its activities. The Thoth card's bright red color is that of Bina, the Great Mother, in the world of pure spirit known as Methuselah. Albeit that the male and female forces are seen as more interwoven in the lower levels as we go down the tree of life. The assumption that Chokmah and Bina are only pure states of male and female force is an error, as Chokmah, wisdom, meaning the primary quality of maleness, is a female noun, taking the point of view that whatever gives birth is exercising a primary female quality at the moment of birth. Then all that is inherent in the male is inherent in the female, and vice versa. We can mentally see this by understanding that the creation of Chokmah gave birth to male and femaleness. Shit, there's a fucking lot. Okay, we're gonna sum this shit up. When the Emperor card is thrown during a reading, it emphasizes the principle of personal power and leadership, building a pure base of knowledge while remaining open-minded, pointing towards success, authority, stability, and ambition in gain or achievement, self-realization of life force and personal power. So we have this symbol. This symbol represents hay. And then Aries is the ram.